Good morning, everyone. This is SMD Mazharul Haq, Assistant Professor, Triple Department, ISR Engineering College, and I am taking the subject Electrical Measurements and Instrumentation for third year Triple E. In the previous class, we have studied about the PMMC instruments, and we are going to study about the MI instruments today. So let's take the topic, MI instruments. Moving iron instruments or shortcut MI instruments also we can say. Generally used to measure the AC current or voltage, but it can measure DC current and voltage without any external circuit. So what is a moving iron instrument? It is used to measure only AC or DC, AC current or AC voltage. And here the pointer is connected to specially designed soft iron that moves according to the intensity of magnetic field acting on it. So here we are telling about the specification of the pointer. When a pointer is connected to the specially designed soft iron that moves accordingly to the intensity of magnetic field acting on that particular soft iron. So the magnetic field is produced by current carrying coil. As all of you know that there is a current carrying coil placed inside a meter, and when a current is passed through that, then a magnetic field is developed, and from that magnetic field the deflection starts here. So the magnetic field is produced by the current carrying coil. So classification MI, there are two types of classification, that is repulsion or double iron type, or attraction or single iron type. So this is the classification of MI instruments or moving iron instruments. The name MI is given because it is having a moving soft iron inside the meter. Type of torque in MI instruments. So deflecting torque, control torque and damping torque present in the moving iron instrument. So deflecting torque produces movement on an aluminum pointer over a calibrated scale. And what is control torque? We all of you know that what is a control torque? Provided by spring or weight, it controls the torque so that the deflection will be at a correct point only. Next, damping torque. Damping torque means mechanical damping, and here the aluminum vane attached to the shaft, so that that aluminum vane will be making this damping a proper damping, and therefore the pointer deflects with a proper deflection, and it stands at a single place only. Now coming to the constructional details of attraction type of MI, we are having moving element is as soft iron, moving element is as soft iron here, and coil, what is the coil? Coil produces the magnetic field and magnetize the iron piece. So what is the two things which are having main role in the attraction type MI instrument is moving element, that is soft iron, and coil, that is used for producing the magnetic field and magnetize the iron piece. Now the control springs are also there. The control springs are weights or aluminum vane, aluminum pointer, shaft and calibrated scale or etc. are used to just control the torque. So already in the beginning we have seen that how the torque is produced, deflecting torque, control torque, and this particular type of torques are produced. Okay. So electric energy supplied is given by V into I dt, okay, with respect to time. So we can write here L into di by dt plus I into dl by dt into I dt also can be written, and therefore if after a simplification we get this equation. Now stored energy is equals to half Li square. Change in stored energy is equals to d of half Li square, then we get this half I square dl plus Li into I. So mechanical work done is given by Td into d theta. So this Td into d theta means writing these equations, mechanical work done is equal to Td into d theta. What we get is we will getting here this Td is equals to half I square dl by d theta. So springs are used for getting the control torque. So Tc is proportional to theta. We came to a conclusion here that torque is proportional to theta, and Tc is equals to Kc in theta by removing the proportionality constant. At final deflected position, Td is equals to Tc, nothing but here Kc theta is equals to half I square into dl by d theta. So we are writing Td is equals to Tc here for this MI instruments, where dl by theta is the change in self-inductance of the coil with respect to deflection angle. So students, I will like to tell you about this spring torque and gravity control torque also in the next classes. Now coming here, there are two types of control, spring control and gravity control. So how this is achieved? By spring the control is achieved, and by the gravity this control is achieved. In simple words, I can say that the controlling torque is achieved in two ways, that is spring control and gravity control. With the help of spring also we can achieve a control, with the help of gravity also we can achieve the control. Now the respective equations are Ts is equals to Ks into d theta and Tg is equals to Kg into sin theta, where Ks is a spring constant and where Kg is equals to mgl, nothing but it is a constant, gravity is constant, that is mg into L, that is nothing but the Kg, and therefore K suffix g here. So if you see there, here the this is the coil placed here, and this is the moving iron which is shown in the arrow here. This is the moving iron instrument and this is the control weight. Okay, this is the control weight present to control the torque, and if you see here that the coil is there on the both sides here, a coil is present on both sides, and this is nothing but the piston, this is the air damping chamber, and we see that here this is the moving iron. So whenever the deflection is observed, whenever the magnetic coil is that coil is magnetized, the deflection occurs here, and deflection, after deflection is occurring, the damping as well as the controlling will be done by these two elements, the control element and the damping element. Okay, so here if you see this gravity control here, what is happening is you are having control weights hanging like this, and therefore the mg is the weight here, and therefore the two components are mg cos theta and this is mg and this is mg sin theta. So in this these are the physical components mg cos theta and mg sin theta for a gravity control method. So at equilibrium, that is for steady deflection, deflecting torque is equals to controlling torque, then it is said that Td is equals to Tc, and therefore by writing the constants here, k into I is equals to kg sin theta, or theta is equals to sin inverse k by kg into I. Okay, so here we can write like this, and construction details of repulsion type Mi, coming to that one, repulsion type Mi, it is also having a moving iron segment kept like this, and here it is clearly shown as a picture. Moving iron instrument segment is kept like this here, and this is the control spring, two control springs are present, and we are having this is not a gravity control, here the spring control is there. So control springs are there, and here is a pointer deflection is shown here, and this is a cylindrical coil, this is a cylindrical coil, and this is a stationary iron segment. Okay, one is a moving iron segment, another is the stationary iron segment here. So two concentric iron vanes, fixed and movable, are there, and a solenoid coil, that is a coil is present, is stationary, pointers attached to a movable vane, and movable vane is curved rectangular in shape. This is the curved rectangular in shape of the movable vane, you can see here. So fixed vane is tampered. Control springs, aluminium pointer, aluminium vane, calibrated scale, mirror, etc. are the parts of this particular Mi instruments. So if you see here, the coil was placed inside that particular device, and we have seen that moving iron will be inside. Moving iron, there are one is fixed and the other is movable, and with this the pointer will start deflecting, and due to this control weight, what happens is this control weight will stop the deflection whenever the pointer has reached the maximum point here. The control weight will be controlling that. This is the range of the particular reading. It will be deciding, the pointer deciding and stopping here due to the controlling torque. Because of the current, whatever the current is flowing, according to the current, magnetic field is developed, and the magnetic field is developed means according to that magnetic field only this deflection also occurring by the pointer. So we have to make a note that when whatever the current is flowing, according to that the magnetic field is developed, and according to magnetic field then the pointer has a deflection, and the damping as well as the controlling torque is done by the respective elements. So we will see the working principle once again. So current flow magnetizes the coil. As I said just now that the current flow magnetizes the coil. The two iron vanes become magnetized with north poles at their upper ends and south poles at the lower ends for direction of current through the coil. Due to repulsion, the unbalanced component of force tangent to the movable element causes it to turn against the force exerted by the springs. So when no current flows through the coil, the movable vane is positioned so that it is opposed to the larger portion of the tapered fixed vein and scale reading is 0. So if no current flows, the reading is 0. The amount of magnetization of the vein depends on the strength of the field, which in turn depends on the amount of current flowing through the coil. So it all depends upon the intensity of current flowing and the intensity of magnetization, how much deflection it is showing. So design of MI ammeter and MI voltmeter. The ammeter coil with few turns of large wire, and the voltmeter the solenoid with many turns of small wire can have this difference. Design of MI ammeter and MI voltmeter. The ammeter is nothing but coil with few turns of large wire. Solenoid with many turns of small wire is nothing but the voltmeter. So here the portable size, a self-contained series resistance is there, and range is up to 750 volts. And higher ranges are obtained by use of additional external multipliers. So for the voltmeter, you can increase the range by using the multipliers. And the portable size voltmeter range is up to 750 volts. And this is nothing but a solenoid with many turns of small wire. Ammeter is nothing but coil with few turns of large wire. So ranges of ammeters and voltmeters we are discussing here. For a given moving iron instrument, the ampere turns necessary to produce the full scale deflection are constant. One can alter the range of ammeters by providing a shunt coil with the moving coil. For moving the iron instruments, for the circuit, see here, let Rm and Lm are the two resistance and inductances respectively, and RSH and LSH are the values of shunt. Then these particular shunt and multipliers for MI instruments can be used to improve the ranges. So if you take the ratio of currents in two parallel, ISH by IM, this ISH and IM, if you take here, that is equals to square root of Rm square plus omega Lm square divided by RSH square plus omega LSH square, that is equals to, if you take out common Rm, it is 1 plus square root of 1 plus omega Lm by Rm whole square divided by RSH into square root of 1 plus omega LSH by RSH whole square. So if you take these two things into consideration, the above ratio ISH by ISM, IM is depending upon Lm by Rm is equals to LSH by RSH. The above ratio will be dependent on frequency omega, as you see here, provided the time constant of two para branches are same, that is, this is the time constant, Lm by Rm is equals to LSH by RSH, then only what happens is ISH by IM is equals to Rm by RSH. We can say that when this time constants Lm by Rm and LSH by RSH are equal, then only we can write that ISH by IM is equals to Rm by RSH. If LSH is equal by RSH is equals to Lm by Rm. So we can say that this current ratio is equal to the resistance ratio, that is inverted resistance ratio Rm by RSH. Now multipliers for the shunt is given by 1 plus Rm by RSH. So if you want to see the current, now I is equals to ISH plus IM, and in the place of ISH you are writing IM into Rm by RSH plus IM. Okay, from this ISH by IM is equals to Rm by RSH, we are replacing this ISH with the help of IM into Rm by RSH, this equation by this equation, okay, and that is equals to IM into 1 plus Rm by RSH. Now what is this we are calculating means, just it is difficult to design a shunt with appropriate inductance, and shunts are rarely incorporated in moving instruments. Thus the multiple ranges can effectively be obtained by winding the coil in parallel series combination, which change the temperature to the ampere turns in the magnetizing coil. So you can increase the range by adding the multiplier here. These are the multipliers, okay. So here ranges of ammeters and voltmeters, I am repeating again. For a given moving iron instrument, the ampere turns necessary to produce full scale deflection are constant. One can alter the range of ammeters by providing a shunt coil with the moving coil. So whenever the moving coil, that is this moving coil is added with some shunt coil, then the range can be improved. So that's what the theoretical calculation was done here. So how we can add this particular thing to make this range of the meter to improve. For moving iron in voltmeters, voltmeter range may be altered connecting a series resistance with the coil. So if you see that the series resistance is connected with the coil here, whereas in ammeter the resistance was connected in shunt. So if you see this, V is equals to Im into square root of Rm square plus omega Lm whole square. If you remove this Rm in the place of Rm, what you are writing here is nothing but Rm is nothing but Rm plus Rsc. Also we can write, because this is both are in series, Rsc plus Rm whole square plus omega Lm square. Now multiply m is equals to capital V by small v. Why this is capital V? Capital V is nothing but after adding this particular series resistance, we are writing this equation. Small v means before adding the series resistance. So capital V by small v, you get some equation in the form of this square root of Rsc plus Rm whole square plus omega Lm square divided by square root of Rm square plus omega Lm square. Okay, students. Now, as we have seen that these are the things done for the moving iron instruments and moving iron voltmeters and moving iron ammeters. Just by to improve the range of these particular meters, you have to add the ammeter and add the range in series for the voltmeter, and you have to add this particular resistance in shunt for the ammeters to increase the range. So advantages also we can see now. Now, in order to compensate the frequency error, the multiplier may be easily shunted by the capacitor. No doubt we are having errors also in the instruments. So, in the instruments, due to these coils in series and these shunts, what happened? The result in error that increases as the frequency increases. So, errors also increase with the frequency increase, because we are talking about the AC signals or AC supply. Frequency definitely takes place here. The change of the impedance of instrument with the change of frequency introduces the error in the signal. Impedance means here we are changing the resistance, and as well as we are changing the frequency also. If the frequency is changed, what happens? There is a frequency error being introduced, and to compensate the frequency error, the multiplier may be easily shunted by the capacitor. So with this, you can additionally add one capacitor also for the series resistance, so that there will not be any frequency error occurring. The instruments are suitable for use in AC and DC circuits as well. The instruments are robust. These are the advantages owing to the simple construction of moving parts. The stationary parts of instruments are also very simple, and instrument is low cost compared to moving coil instruments. Moving coil instruments are PMMC instruments, and these MI instruments are low cost, provided that these particular MI instruments are free from the errors. And advantage, one more advantage is torque by weight ratio is high. Thus, less frictional error occurs here. Now, coming to the errors in these MI instruments, error due to temperature variation, error due to friction is quite small as torque weight ratio is high, and demagnetization fields cause relatively low values of magnetizing force, and error due to variation of frequency causes change of reactance of the coil and also changes the eddy current inducing the neighboring metal. And deflecting torque is not exactly proportional to square of the current due to non-linear characteristics of iron. So, MI for DC purpose, the error due to residual magnetism in the vanes, because after using this particular MI instrument, there will be some residual magnetism in the vanes present, because it is already magnetized. If it is magnetized, the vanes will be having some residual magnetism left out. Due to that also, there will be some deflections which are not having proper mark. So, errors will be occurred due to residual magnetism when you are using for the DC purpose. Now, the error can be minimized by reversing the meter connections and averaging the readings. So, whatever we have done in the lab also, we are able to see that when the readings goes to the negative, what we are doing here is we are interchanging the terminals and making the reading come positive direction. Coming to the limitations, it is a non-linear scale. And all the MI instruments are having non-linear scale, and they are drawing more power. Non-linear scale means they are not calibrated like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. They are being calibrated for a first two readings are not properly uniform, and after that they are uniformly calibrated. I will show the diagram for you. Non-linear scale, they are non-linear scale and draw more power. They are shielding, they are laminated with iron cylinder, and they should be provided to protect from external magnetic fields. Because it is having a moving iron inside it, if the magnetic fields are more from outside, then it will cause an error. And deflecting torque is not exactly proportional to I square here. So, variation of frequency also introduce error because it is a AC quantity. These are the limitations which are to be remembered. So, if you see here, this is the AC voltmeter, this is a DC voltmeter. Here you can see the sinusoidal printed here, and this is the direct DC printed here beneath the V, letter V. So here you can see that it is non-uniform scale. Non-uniform scale from 100 to 200 and 200 to 300 like that. But here you can see that it is calibrated for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 uniformly. So it is a non-uniform scale, you can observe. A non-uniform scale will have a reading after a certain readings will be not in the range. This one will be non-uniform, and you can observe that it is non-uniform here. But whereas here it is uniform reading. So the scale between MI and MC. You might be observing the scales in the real meters also, how it is non-uniform and uniform. You can easily access the difference. Now let us talk about the errors, because the errors are also a main part of this discussion. Gross errors, systematic errors are also two types of errors here. So we will talk about the gross errors. Now all the humans makes some errors during the recording of the particular readings. So mistake in calculating these type of things are called as these gross errors. While taking the reading from the meter of instrument, 21 may be read as 31. All these type of error can be under this category we can take. Now avoiding the suitable measures, a proper care should be taken in reading and recording the data. The calculation of error should be done accurately. As increasing the number of experiments, we can reduce the gross errors. Like we will be having number of experiments, like taking the number of readings also, and we will check for different types of readings, and theoretical formulas also. By checking that one, we can calculate the errors, and errors can be minimized. Like if each experimenter takes different reading at different point, then by taking the average of more readings, we can reduce the gross errors. What is systematic error? Instrumental errors or environmental errors. The systematic means in the system, that is in the instruments occurring, the errors occurring in the instruments. Due to wrong construction, calibration of measuring instruments arises due to the friction or maybe due to hysteresis also we can have instrumental errors. First is due to construction, that is wrong. Second is due to calibration, and the third one is arises due to friction or maybe due to hysteresis, and include the loading effect and misuse of the instruments, which results in the failure to adjust the zero of the instruments. Some instruments already will not show zero, and if you are taking the reading will have error. So first you set the reading to 0 first, and to minimize this, various correction factors must be applied, and extreme conditions the instrument must be recalibrated carefully. Calibration in the sense, you have to check for the errors. If the error is happening there, you have to check the misuse and check whether the instrument is working properly, or you have to check for the physical conditions of the instruments and calibrate it carefully to get the readings without any error. Calibration means getting the reading process of making the meter to read the readings without any error. And environmental errors. What is environmental error? The external condition includes temperature, pressure, humidity, or may include the external magnetic field also. These are the environmental errors. So to minimize this error, try to maintain the temperature, and we can humidity also can be maintained, and the laboratory constant by making some arrangements. Ensure that there should not be any external magnetic or electrostatic field around the instrument while measuring. This will be minimized like this if the precautions are taken. Observation means while taking the readings, the arm observation also called as parallax error. And highly accurate meters are required, and they are provided mirror scales where we can see the reading in the mirror inside the meter, and from the mirror we can closely monitor the reading, and the parallax error can be avoided. Instead of seeing with our human eye and directly seeing with the on the meter, there is some parallax error caused, and by seeing onto the mirror side of that particular pointer, beneath the pointer some mirror is arranged, and that mirror will tell you the correct reading of the meter. Okay. Now random errors. What is random error? After calculating all the systematic errors, it is found that there are still some errors in measurements. So these errors known as random errors. As we say that randomly some errors are also occurring there. These errors are nothing but the errors which are having after taking the number of precautions also. So these cannot be avoided, and we cannot fully eliminate these kinds of errors. So I have taught you in this class about the MI instruments and type of errors, and we discussed about the particular measure precautions taken to minimize the errors also. So I would like to conclude my class here. Thank you, students. In the next class, we will deal about the next topic. Thank you.